the most unorthodox show on the globe. And as always, I am one of your hosts, Myra B. King, and I have a few great hosts with me today as well.
This is Desi Des.
And it's your boy Mojo in the building, and we have a legendary guest on the set with us today, sir. Let the people know who you are.
Well, first of all, thanks for calling me a legend. I'm thrilled. I think of legend, I think of the greatest of the greats. So I'm honored to be here. JustinShenkarow. I've been working as an actor on set and cartoon actor for 25 years. Worked on Hey Arnold playing Harold. Hey Arnold, come here, I'll pound ya. Also was on Picket Fences playing Matthew Brock on CBS, where we won a bunch of Emmys. Eerie, Indiana on NBC, and just done, over 100 different TV and film and commercials and voiceovers over the years. So thrilled to be here and chatting with you all, and thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you've got an illustrious career. I mean, you've got a cameo. I mean, you've appeared on episodes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
I mean, you were on there with Kevin Driscoll for an episode. I mean, you were on The Little Mermaid, Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, which was one of my personal favorites. Nickelodeon's Finest and Disney were just all over the place with you. And I mean, even back to the Kim Possible episode, how was that? Because in the Kim Possible episode, you played Dexter, who was one of the boy band members, but the other two members that people don't know were actually NSYNC members. That was Joey Fantone and that was Lance Bass. And
That's
some of the songs that were in the Fairly Odd Parents episode were based off of their original content. How was it working with people like that?
Amazing. They were fantastic. The thing was, I can't sing. I pretend to sing, but here I am hanging out with Lance Bass and, the NSYNC crew. And I mean, they're just singing some bars like it's no big deal. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm the voiceover actor. I'm the actor. But really fun. I mean, super cool dudes. Kim Possible, amazing show. And, just had a blast working on it. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, we want to go back to that one. I was on the episode with Evander Holyfield when he had just won the heavyweight world championship. And I remember he showed up in a full black leather suit, black leather pants, black leather shirt, and black leather blazer. And to this day, that's one of the coolest outfits I've ever seen. I'm like, if you can pull off a black leather suit, that is a legend in my eyes.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, illustrious career, Totally Spies, Recess. And I mean, you've even been in video games, LA Noire, Patrolman, Skate, which is one of my favorites, along with LA Noire, which is one of my favorites. And I mean, Spider-Man, the movie, Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse, and all of that. And it's just, how do we, and especially even with your first gig, like you said, Eerie, Indiana, how did you get into all of this? How did this start?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, you should be my agent because I mean, you're tooting me up a horn. I feel terrific after you talking about all my credits.
I didn't even mention the planet.
But yeah, no,
you deserve it. That's what you deserve.
Yes. So I started off at 5.5 years old, and I always tell people, like, when you're getting into acting, sometimes it takes a long time to get your first gig. I didn't book my first job till I was 6.5, a whole year later. I was auditioning left and right and didn't get anything. And then finally it started clicking. Some people audition and they get their first job. So you just kind of never know. You just got to go for it. So the first, and what happened was my parents had a little French bakery and I had this big fro, big curly hair. And the customers used to come in and say, hey, you should put your kid in acting. Maybe he'll like it because he looks cute. So I think they heard it enough times. They're like, all right, let's give this kid a shot and see if he does well. So as I said, I didn't book anything for a year, but I enjoyed the process. And then the first commercial I got was for Mattel, where I was flying around. So they put me in a harness. I was flying around with what kid doesn't want to fly. Right. And then they had this whole table set up with craft service food. So candies and snacks for free. I could eat all these goodies. I was hooked. That was it. I was like, this is my thing. I want to do this forever.
Now, when you first started, well, I don't even want to go to when you first started, but like, when you were younger, was the business correct as far as the contract negotiations? Were you getting confiscated well for what you were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Of course, you get you get compensated a lot more now. But yeah, I mean, I think they paid decently for what we did, considering they gave me some free donuts and a bunch of candies and stuff. As a kid, I was very happy with that.
Exactly. What do you think about, since you've been the whole realm of cartoon animation, sitcoms, movie appearances, what do you think about the cancellation that they're trying to do with cartoons now, or cartoon characters?
In terms of what? What do you mean?
Well, so they're starting to cancel cartoon characters, basically, as in, like, they're saying it's being
because the voiceover were
Pepe Le Pew, he was a little too aggressive, to be showing the children, because there were, obviously in Pepe Le Pew there would be people that the females would be like, oh, I don't want you, and he would just press her on like, oh well,
And then in Snow White, how they said that she was kissed by the prince, like, without her consent,
she was sleeping
her
with no
consent,
right?
Like, do you think it's gotten overly sensitive now, or do you think it's something that they probably should have kind of filtered out earlier on? Or what are just your thoughts on it?
Hey, this your boy Desi Des.
And it's your boy Mojo. And if you like what you are seeing so far, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the page. Please. And if all else fails and you like what you talking about as far as this merch-wise, baby, hit us up. You know what I'm saying? Check us out on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook at TwistedYounginz with a Z. You know what I'm talking about? Make sure you give us an email at TwistedYounginz@gmail.com for all promotions.
Where's it at TwistedYounginz@gmail.com?
Yes, sir, with a Z. And also, if y'all don't like what you see right now, as far as merch-wise, we got more merch, and we also do merch.
Do your merch
Send us in a couple
support
designs.
Everybody.
Yeah, and we do promotional packages, interviews, videos, articles, whatever you guys need, man. Just make sure you hit us up. Holla at you, baby.
Personally, I like to say that I'm not hired for my opinions. I'm just hired to act.
Okay, that's safe to say. That's
it's so competitive, this industry, that I'm grateful for any job. The people that make decisions about who they want to cancel or not cancel, they're way above my pay grade. I'm just very happy to work, and that's kind of what I have to say about it.
Well, if they get in the tabloids about Harold, man, he was too much of a bully.
Right.
If they fuck with Harold, they're gonna have some serious problems.
Well, I mean,
because does it allow room for creativity, or is it like going to play the safe side all the time?
I totally agree with you. What's funny is on my Instagram several months back, I posted a clip I did a show called Picket Fences years ago, and I had a wet dream scene. So in the wet dream, the character sees Lauren Holly, who was beautiful. She played this beautiful cop on the show, and she came into my room while I'm having this wet dream. She was carrying chocolate cake, Game Boy, and then she had like a bikini on, and she says something like, my character's name was Matthew. She's like, Matthew, would you like chocolate cake, bikini, or, a chocolate cake, Game Boy, or me? And I posted it, kind of like as a nostalgic moment, kind of like a joke. And oh my gosh, I had so many comments from people saying, that seems like that was abuse. Did you feel like you were abused when that was happening? And I was shocked by that, because I was like, that was one of the best moments in my acting career.
Wow.
So yeah, I do think that people have gotten overly sensitive in some situations, but as I said, I'm not really paid to comment on that. But if somebody tries to fuck with Harold, they're gonna hear it from me big time.
No, understandable. And like you said, you're hired for your comedy and for your voice, not for your own personal thoughts and stuff like that, which is fine. But in regards to what Myra's talking about, how it makes it harder on creators and stuff, you do have a production company. So that's something that you have to look, is that something that you look out for when you're producing, or you're in the mode of getting ready to make another film or something like that? Is that something that you pay attention to with the writers, or as far as the acting scenes go and stuff?
Yeah, on the producing side, that's a great point. Yes. We have to be very, very specific and conservative about some issues. And we take it, the studios, the networks, the production companies, the agencies are really, really very conservative in some issues. And then very progressive in terms of other issues. So that's a great point. Yes, there are things that we discuss with the writers and the talent as well about things that can be potentially misinterpreted or thought to be something that could be taken out of context. So yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Now you spotlighted the fact that you said you're just happy to be working, to be making money, and obviously, a lot of actors, they often don't get that opportunity, or they end up being put to the back front. But can you explain the downsides of being an actor, like the cons of when it comes to being in the industry itself within acting?
Acting is brutal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cons.
Mm-hmm.
The cons are, it's great to be on set. It's so wonderful to be working and collaborating, just kind of like we're collaborating now for your podcast, spitballing ideas, being creative, which is great. But the acting industry is so competitive and it's very celebrity driven, which I kind of understand now from a producing point of view, because when you're producing a project, you're really thinking about the numbers and you're thinking about how much an actor is worth in terms of foreign sales when you're trying to distribute a project, what the network and the studios are looking for. You always are looking for a name. But from an actor's point of view, it sucks, right? I mean, you're just like, here I am, I'm just super talented, I'm in acting class, I'm in improv class, I'm doing all the things that are necessary, and yet it's very, very hard to work. I think less than 1% of actors within Screen Actors Guild, which I believe there's over 130,000 actors roughly in Screen Actors Guild, just 1% make over $100,000 a year. And then like 0.0001 make, north of maybe 300,000 a year. So, and then there's hundreds of thousands of actors that are not even in SAG. So you kind of got to be within SAG just to do television and film. So we pick up the magazines and we watch E, and we see the very, very, very small percentage of actors that make a great, great living. But the vast majority of actors don't make a living as actors. They have a second or third or fourth job. And it's a very, very tough industry.
Yeah. Did you ever consider making a movie?
Yes. I've done several short films, which I've directed and written and produced.
Okay. Have you starred in your short film, right?
Yeah. I've starred in my short films because as actors now, it's like, we got to write, we got to produce, we got to direct, we got to do it all. Yeah. I mean, so many actors have their own podcasts now too. It's like any opportunity to just get out, be creative, promote yourself. You kind of never know where somebody's going to find you and see you. I do theater. Just got to be out there creating at all times. But yeah, I've thought about doing features. Like I've written a couple features. It's just it's hard, man. It's just like, it's so hard because for a feature you got to go out, not necessarily, but you got to go out and raise typically a couple $100,000. You got to put a whole crew together. You got to shoot it. And I mean, a lot of actors do it and it's amazing, but it's hard. It's a really hard process. So you kind of get, I mean, at least for me, it's like I've gotten overwhelmed thinking, all right, I got a great script, but then I got to cast it. I got to find a crew. I got to raise money. And then I kind of get overwhelmed and just kind of stop myself. But I shouldn't. I should be doing it.
Is it true that theater is the hardest form of acting?
Well, I mean, I think theater is brutal because at least with TV and film, if you screw up, you get another take, right? And also, not only do you get another take, but on set, usually you're spending several hours, maybe even a day on one scene. Maybe sometimes you spend on a film a couple days doing one scene because they're shooting a master shot, they're shooting close-ups, medium shot, different angles. So you have a lot of different ways to get it right. In theater, it's like it's live. If you screw up, you're kind of screwed. But I mean, theater is so great because you get the vibe of the audience and you're just connecting with the other actors that you're up on stage with, and you're vibing off that audience and you're very much in the moment. So yeah, it's kind of the hardest, but it's also, to me, almost the most rewarding as well.
Yeah, they say if you mess up, you got to keep going. You better.
You got to keep going. It's like
Act like
dancing.
nothing
I
happened.
was I was just at my buddy's wedding last weekend, and they had hired a dance instructor because they wanted to do 2 songs. One where they came out on stage to like introduce them. They did a beautiful song, and then later they did this really cool salsa dance. And they were very nervous. Like the wife is an amazing dancer, but the husband is kind of stiff. He doesn't have much rhythm. And I kept telling him, I was like, listen, dude, no matter what, nobody's going to know whether you mess up. Just go with it. And they killed it. And I remember him telling me, like, after, he's like, oh, I messed up a couple of the steps. I said, nobody knew. Nobody knows. The same with theater. It's like, you just keep going with it. Nobody's going to know.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
What are some of the hardships, or what should I say? What is the difference that it is in preparation of getting ready to voice act for an animation character for as a cartoon versus getting to a video game where it's like, at least with a cartoon, you have episodes and everything like that. Whereas a video game is pretty much, I'd assume, it's one script.
Yeah. Typically it's one script for a video game. Yeah. Well, that's a great question. It depends. Sometimes for video games, we do mocap, right? Motion capture.
Mhm.
So what they'll do for that, you're probably familiar, they'll put you in the suit and they got these little balls all over you. And then, they put you with they got like 1 million cameras. They put you in this room and there's all these cameras and they're capturing your movement. So there's that aspect. And then for a video game, a lot of times you'll go into, when you're doing just the voice for it, it's like a 4-hour session. It's typically pretty long, and they will have you do like a lot of not only your lines, but then you'll do a lot of efforts. So, video games typically are very intense, a lot of shooting, a lot of killing, a lot of efforts. So you'll be like grunt, they'll take you through, you'll be screaming, you'll be doing efforts for being shot, you'll be doing, jumping. So video games can be very, very intense on your voice because you're doing 4 hours of extreme vocal range. As I mentioned, not only your voiceover dialogue, but a lot of these efforts. Cartoons, animation, typically you're going in, it's like you mentioned, if you're a series regular doing numerous episodes, but when you go in there and you do one from either your voiceover booth from home or you're at the studio, it's typically pretty quick, like 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You're going in, you're knocking out your lines, and you're doing some efforts as well, but definitely typically not as strenuous as a video game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, I do have another one for you. Now, I don't know if you will answer it because I know you say you don't get paid for opinions. But I'm gonna shoot the shot anyway.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on executives wanting to keep remaking these reboots of sitcoms, maybe cartoons and movies? Personally, I feel like it cheats out the creativity when you have a person like yourself of a production company. You come in, you're putting together a script, you're putting together pieces of art. But
I agree with you on that one for sure. No, I'll give you my opinion. Absolutely. I mean, here's what bums me out. 2 of the big shows I was on in the 90s, Eerie, Indiana and Picket Fences, they're not rebooting. I'm like, look, if you're going to reboot stuff, why not do the stuff that I was part of, right? So,
Right.
But I totally agree with you. Like, I mean, especially when you see the movie theater, you go to the movies now, and, when I was growing up, it was all originals, primarily original films, great scripts, great acting, great directing. Now it's, comic book movies, sequels, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, they're fun, right? I mean, they're fun popcorn films, but I'm with you. Like, I mean, reboots are fine, but where's the originality? Where's the creativity? I actually, as a producer, I love true crime and I love comedy. So I've been going out and acquiring a lot of IP. So I'll listen to interesting podcasts or read, books that I like, and I'll go out and I'll buy that IP and I want to make it into a show or a film. And I'm doing it, but it's hard because, like you mentioned, a lot of the stuff they want to just kind of do a reboot, and it's like, a reboot's fine, but where's that Where's that original voice? Where's that creativity? There's so much happening in the world now, politics, humanity, you know, what's going on in our country. Like that voice should be out. We should be seeing what's happening through our, you know, our TV screens and our films, and not necessarily relying specifically on reboots. I think a little bit of rebooting is fine, but you know, I'm a proponent of an original voice. So that's my opinion on that one for sure.
Preach. That was well said.
Yeah.
Are you in the NFT world?
Yes. So I'm in the NFT world. Yeah. Interestingly enough, I've been in it since early February. I think NFTs, talk about original. I think they're phenomenal. They really give an opportunity for a creator to have a direct relationship with a fan or a collector. You're cutting out that middleman. And I think we're just seeing the beginning of NFTs. I mean, I've been buying some art. You know, I love to collect art, and I have a lot of friends that are artists, that are painters. And, you know, you go into an art gallery and you buy a painting, and the gallery owner is going to take 50% of that, you know, whatever you buy it for. The artist is, you know, they're going to get 50% of it. But then if you as a collector, you go and you sell that to another collector, the artist is not going to get a piece of any of that secondary sale. With an NFT, it's a totally different ball game. You know, the artist makes a painting, they get like 80 to 85% of that original sale, plus they get a percentage of all secondary sales. And I think we're going to see some major shakeups in the film and TV business, where you're going to start seeing projects that are NFT, where fans can have ownership in projects, and they can have that direct relationship with the creator, which I think that's what fans want. I think creators want that. And I just launched an NFT autograph company where I've been going around to some of my actor friends and getting their NFT autographs, and we're going to sell those directly to fans. And I want to add NFTs to my production company, where you'll be able to directly be able to, as a fan, have be able to buy an experience with the creator and have ownership in a television show or a film, which I think is going to be really amazing, and cut out the distributors that have all of the power, and you only have a couple people that are greenlighting everything. And in my opinion, you know, it's too centralized. Like, you know, when I pitch a series, there's only a couple people that make a decision on whether or not that show is bought. And I don't think personally that's fair. I think it should be a much more open process. And I feel like NFTs are going to give creators a lot more opportunity.
Now, how would you explain NFTs in the not in the aspect of like someone trying to upload a form of art to there? You know, artists that, like you said, that may sell their paintings in the art gallery. They're may have thinking of NFTs and they don't necessarily know how it works.
Yep, great question. So there's a couple really easy websites to check out if you want to mint your NFT. Like if you're an artist, and let's say you're a digital artist, like you create art on, you know, Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop, or, you know, you're an animator, you can mint your NFTs. Or you're a painter and you do physical painting. You just want to take a photo of your physical painting and create an NFT out of it. You can go, there's a website called OpenSea.io, OpenSea.io, and you can upload your NFT to their site. I think it's either free or a pretty minimal cost, and you can sell it right there on OpenSea. You know, you can blast it out to your friends on Twitter or Instagram or, you know, TikTok, or on your podcast, and say, hey, go buy my NFT right on OpenSea. There's a couple other big marketplaces. One is called Nifty Gateway, niftygateway.com, where you can contact them. They deal with a lot of artists. So, you know, you reach out to them, email them and say, hey, you know, I'm an artist, I want to sell my NFTs. There's that site. There's the foundation. I think it's foundation.io, another great site. There's Maker's Place. Maker's Place. It's either makersplace.com or makersplace.io. It's another one. If you want to do an NFT, reach out to me. I'm happy to give you my opinion, my advice. My email is justinfilm@gmail.com. Happy to give you my input and connect you with some people. I'm actually starting a creative agency to help people make NFTs, because I just feel like so many artists, so many creators should be making NFTs. Like, you guys have this amazing podcast. Like, you could NFT an episode of your podcast.
Oh, we're gonna reach out to you for that.
yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
reach
figure
out
that
to
out.
you for that. We're gonna set that up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help you. You know, I mean, NFT your podcast and make some money from that, and also give fans an opportunity to really create that even more direct relationship with you. And you guys have a successful podcast. That's what fans want. They want to have that interaction with you, and you can create that.
That's beautiful,
100%.
man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects far as your production company or future NFT coming out that we should be aware of or be on the lookout for?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I've got two different FBI shows right now that we are going out to networks to pitch. Both of them are based on true stories. One of them is based on an incredible woman, African-American woman named Jerry Williams, who was a very successful FBI agent for 27 years. She has a podcast actually called FBI Retired True Case Files. And I've been working with Jerry, and we've got a fantastic writer named Floyd Kane, who came on board, and he's the showrunner for the show. So we're getting out there. We've created an amazing pitch about this series. We're getting out there in mid-July. We're going to be pitching it to Netflix and HBO, Amazon, a bunch of the different networks. So I'll let you know if we sell it. I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed. Jerry's amazing, Floyd's amazing, and it's just a sensational series. So I really hope we do. It's an original voice, like we talked about before. So, you know, I hope they're buying original stuff.
Mhm. Right.
I have another fantastic series based on a woman named Deborah LaPrevost, who started the kleptocracy department within the FBI. And kleptocrats are these corrupt global leaders like Putin from Russia, who steal billions of dollars from their own people to enrich themselves. There are a lot of these presidents and prime ministers from all around the world, and they steal billions from their own people. They buy Ferraris and they buy mansions for themselves. It's terrible. Well, this woman started the department within the FBI that she tracks these kleptocrats down, recovers billions of dollars, and puts these people in prison. Amazing show, really cool. So out there pitching that. I have another show that I wrote called It's Your Fault. It's a comedy. It's kind of like Schitt's Creek meets the Kardashians.
Okay.
It's a meta version of my life. So I'm going to get out there and pitch that. And then I got my NFT autograph company that we're launching soon. So a lot of irons in the fire.
Okay,
Hey,
lastly,
one quick, the first movie you said with the black African American woman FBI agent.
Yep.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna promote that.
Yeah, send her over.
Yes.
Yeah, for
Please
sure.
do.
Send her
We want
over
to
here.
interview it whenever it drops. If they accept it, we want to interview it. We want.
Thank you. I will. As soon as we sell that show,
Yes, sir.
what I will do is I'll get Jerry and Floyd on.
okay.
Floyd is he's a showrunner, creator, has a fantastic series on second season called Digstown.
Mm.
Wonderful writer. And Jerry, as I mentioned, she's sensational woman, super, just brilliant. I'll get the two of them on your podcast. Maybe I'll hop on too.
Yeah.
And we'll talk all about the launch of the show.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
And I think that's dope. Lastly, before we
Yeah.
get out of here, I have to ask you. So, you've been in the industry for a couple decades, a few
Yeah.
decades. How have you watched the industry evolve? You hear people say, "Oh, back in my day, it was like this, or we had this, we didn't have this, or they're doing this differently." From your lens, what are some of the changes that you've noticed from when you first started until now?
Great question. Well, the industry has changed a lot. So when I was working a lot in the 90s and first coming up, there was kind of a situation where when you were an actor, you started in commercials and then you went to guest appearances, like when I did a guest spot on Fresh Prince or Who's the Boss. And then you kind of leveled up to like a reoccurring actor where maybe you were on a television show, but you maybe did 5 or 7 episodes in a season. And then you leveled up to be like a series regular on a series. And then, you know, you leveled up to be in films, and then you leveled up to be like a movie star. That's the way it worked. There were these different levels. And when you reached a certain level, you did not come down. Meaning when you were doing a television show, you would not do commercials. When you were doing films, you would not do television. You would level up, and it was very much a status thing. And that's the way the industry worked for many, many, many years. What's changed dramatically is celebrities have really, you know, come on majorly strong. Studios and networks are very celebrity driven, and there's no kind of leveling up anymore. Meaning when you achieve a status as some kind of celebrity, then you do everything. You do film, you do television, you do commercials, you do animation, you do Instagram videos, you do TikTok, you do everything. You're very much out there. In addition to when I was coming up, leveling up, as I kind of like to call it, you wanted to be very mysterious as an actor. You did not want anybody knowing your personal business, because the whole point of acting, frankly, is that you are kind of mysterious, that you can play different characters, and people really should not know about your personal life, because if the more they know about your personal life, the less they're going to buy the characters that you're going to play on screen. But that has changed dramatically too. So now you see actors, celebrities very much doing a ton of self-promotion, ton of self-branding, having their own podcast, doing commercials, doing animation. So that's how the industry's changed. It's all about personal branding. It's all about marketing. It's about doing as much as you possibly can. And that is a 180-degree different from how it used to be. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense.
They're free to do whatever they want. Basically, free to make as much money as possible.
You got it. Now it's like once you reach that celebrity status, you dip into anything you possibly can. You make as much money as possible. You cross different mediums, whatever it may be. It was not that way at all in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. But with social media and the way celebrities, you know, the game has changed, and you gotta, you know, change with the times.
Facts.
Absolutely,
Facts.
man.
Well,
We
man,
appreciate you.
Definitely want to
coming
appreciate you. This is a dope conversation, man.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Sure.
Well, you guys are fantastic. I mean, I love that your cousins and your family, and you have a fantastic podcast. I'm happy. I'd love to come back on. And when we sell Jerry's show, I will get Jerry and Floyd on. And when I have something hot about to drop, I would love to come back on and talk to you about it, if that's cool.
No problem. The
We're gonna
doors.
hold you
all
to
the
it.
time,
We're
sir.
gonna hold you to
Thank you. And please,
Hey,
please
don't
stay
sell
in
the
touch.
Don't sell the show, and don't act like and don't know us no more.
Emails.
Absolutely. I will always know you. It's an open door policy. Anytime you want to reach out, you have my email, you got my cell, you got my Instagram. Hit me up anytime.
Got you.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have you a blessed
You're
day.
welcome. You're welcome. Have a great Sunday. We'll talk soon.
Likewise.